Hi, this is your host Swapnil Bharti and welcome to a brand new episode of State of Energy. We are here in Paris for LF Energy Summit and today we have with us once again Benoît Jeanson. You are enterprise architect at RTE. First of all, it's great to have you back on the show.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here with you and to see you in person.
Exactly. It's own excitement to see folks in person as well. We do a lot on remotely, which is also a good thing, right? We can do remote. Since we are here at the summit, of course, we are going to talk about FledgePOWER. But before we talk about that, just quickly talk about the keynote session and when you see the whole community is coming together. What was the feeling, excitement there?
Yeah, lots of excitement actually because we had that summit like 3 years ago. And a bit more, and now we can see that the community grew, and that there is a real momentum that's more and more mature, more and more people here. People know what we are doing, and they are interested in joining. That is not just an idea; that's something really concrete, and that's really an excitement and like a feeling of achievement.
Last time when we talked, actually, is initially when FledgePOWER project was came into existence. So I want to revisit that discussion and also remind our viewers, because if I'm not wrong, FledgePOWER project also leverages LF Edge project there. So talk about the origin of the project.
The need for FledgePOWER actually was to have a multi-protocol gateway. So we use a lot of communication protocols within utilities, within TSO, DSO, from the substation to the data centers, from the substation to the SCADA, and there are many layers of protocols, and we need to be able to translate from one protocol to another. And there is also a history. We are using legacy protocols. It's widespread. We have in RTE more than 2,000 substations, so we won't change at once. So we need to live with old protocols for like 10 or 20 years. So we need to ensure that everybody is able to deliver the information in the right language to the central data center, and also to exchange with the TSO of Europe.
Can you talk about the evolution of the project since the early days? Where is it now?
We are in line with our goals. So we are exactly doing what we were expecting to do. So the use case is protocol translation. What's new after 2 years, I guess last time was 2 years ago, is that now we're going into production. So we will have real FledgePOWER instance in substation. And that's also, we have FledgePOWER is now known in the community. So we have also interest from people from Islander, for example, or other utilities that are interested in maybe use FledgePOWER for its very use case, but also for with other ideas. As you said, it's based on the software that comes from Linux Foundation Edge, the Fledge project, and there are many other use cases that we could address also with this platform. And thanks to FledgePOWER, the Fledge is now known in the community, in the energy community. So Fledge and FledgePOWER are the same code at the end of the day, but that's two community. One is in the edge world, and the other one is in the energy sector, and we share a lot.
These are two different communities, but sometimes communities also help each other. Mm-hmm. What kind of community is there around a FledgePOWER project?
Community of FledgePOWER is really driven by the needs of energy. And how we are leading and how we're interested in multi-protocol gateway for the time being is the only use case that is developed and being close to being in production is the multi-protocol gateway. But there are experimentation also that will take the advantage of having this edge platform to, for example, behind the meter, to be able to receive signals from the outside or gather some information at the edge, make some processes and deliver other information to the cloud. So there are ideas that are developed by other people and not yet, it's still proof of concept. But and that's very close to the use cases that were envisioned by Fledge. And with Fledge, you can do also machine learning on the edge and so on. So this gives us a lot of ideas that we could implement also in our community in the future. That's not our actuality as of today, but that's probably something that we will go towards.
It may look like a small project, but I look at its reverberation much bigger, much global. Because when we look at the biggest thing that we all talk about today is EVs. Everybody talks about but that is not just about EV. We are charging and plugging EVs at home. Even I have a solar panels for charging. A lot of folks have batteries also. So the way we consume electricity is also changing. We are producing electricity also, which is going back into the grid. And of course, there are renewables, there are electric, there is solar. Talk a bit about how it's changing the whole energy sector and what role this FledgePOWER project can play in that space or playing in that space.
So you described already a lot of what is changing. So there is, we have more and more lever that flexibility that we may be able to act in the future at the consumer side, and also we need to be able to monitor the renewables and being able to handle that with the batteries and so on. So we need to exchange more and more information at the very low level to the centralized level, or also at the level of microgrids or at the level of area. So we need to be able to gather the information and to broadcast it to the right people. FledgePOWER can do that. Or will be able to do that. And we'll be also able to, one of the great advantage of Fledge is that even when you're cut from the cloud, you're able to process at the edge. And if you are no longer connected, you can still implement some algorithms and to have local management, even if you're not triggered by something from the centralized level.
When we look at these kind of projects, I always think about the Linux kernel. Linux created to solve a specific problem, but today almost everybody is using it. Because when you create a project, you don't even know how people will end up using it. And when we talk about this sector, as a lot of new players are coming into, once again, nobody knows the scope of the project. But if you can talk about, of course, as you said, it's a very initial page, but the use cases that you see, which are either there or you see the potential for them.
So everything that you can, when you want to handle information, Fledge, you can run it on top of, how do you say that? Raspberry Pi. So very tiny devices. So when you have that in mind and that you know that you can have all the protocols or some algorithms that you can have at the edge, so you have like small letters that you can assemble to make various kind of sentences. So, and that was also one challenge that we had with FledgePOWER, and I'm very happy that we had that in the Linux Foundation Energy. So we used to have big projects, such as Possible, such as JXF. That's huge amount of code. FledgePOWER is something that is tiny, that you can put on a very small device and that you can deploy everywhere. And so it's a small project, and my bet was that with a small project, it will be easier to get a broader community because it's easier to implement. It's easier to make proof of concept out of it. It's easier to just take it, test it for one particular use case, and when you're happy with that, extend it with other use cases. And yes, I think that we will achieve that goal to grow a community with many other use cases that I didn't think of yet.
Can you also talk about, when we look at the energy sector, there are different constituents, different kind of players, like distributors, there are producers there. So what are the constituents that you see LF, especially the FledgePOWER project, can help?
Almost everybody, I think. As soon as so this could be used for aggregators. This can be used for TSO. We want to use it as a TSO. This can be implemented in factories. It can be everywhere. As soon as you need to have a device that is communicating from the edge, FledgePOWER of its sibling project Fledge fit to that.
We are talking about microgrid, and there is also a report coming out from Linux Foundation also about microgrid. But a lot of folks may not even know what microgrid is. Can you explain for them?
We heard a lot about microgrids. So microgrids are for grids, for small networks that are isolated or connected with a weak link to a broader grid, and then you need to to manage the system at a low level, just being able to balance the energy at this level and making all the optimization that we are able to do at the state level locally to not to have congestion with this weak connection that we have with the bigger grid.
Now, I also want to talk about the project itself. As you said, initially that whatever goal you had in mind about FledgePOWER, you are sticking on the goal. Can you talk about, of course, an open source project, but what are the things that you are working on? What are the things you're looking at what's next step for the project itself?
We are only working on this multi-protocol use case. We need to extend the actual bases that we have with more protocols. So today we have the main ones, what was at the top priority for us, and we need to extend that with other protocols. Maybe also protocols that were not foreseen. For example, I think we developed a plugin that is able to gather data from the PMUs. And so that's something that is not exactly the protocol, the communication protocol that we were used to that was planned to be used. But so the C37118 is a protocol for PMUs, and we see that there are more and more interest in the community for using PMUs. And so FledgePOWER is almost ready to be inside a community of PMUs talking all together.
Is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of either FledgePOWER or anything else?
I just like to highlight the fact that we have a real good collaboration with the Fledge community. So from the LF Edge side, and I'd like to thank this community too, because they really were helpful. And we see that this open source world, even if we're in two separate industrial area, but having this mindset of yes, but we are doing things all together to build up, to share our knowledge, to share our forces all together, and that was really exciting to work with them. So I just like to take that opportunity to thank them. Thank you, Linux Foundation Edge, and thank you for the people from the Fledge project for your support.
Benoît, thank you so much for taking time out today and sit with me and give us an update on the project. And as well, I would love to chat with you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Swapnil.